Go, Ben. It's your turn. Ben, it's your turn.
As we speak today, July 19, we are at 61,260 COVID-19 cases. Bicol 175 and 148 of that active cases. As we continue to journey, provide for the family, and ensure that there's food at the table, the daily hardships that one must attend to is really a most pressing responsibility. And what creeps in as an emerging concern for millions of Filipinos, aside from the real threat of being infected, is the other side of the coin, which focus on the burgeoning pressure for mental health. The immense challenge to rationalize the crisis on how to preserve our sanity every day, because we need to stay that way. How all the negative news, left and right, affects our consciousness. That is to stand up, to sleep well at night, and wake up persevering every day. The constant in mind, will I be okay? So today, we examine, talk, discuss the bright side of things, the sunlight, the positive thought, the happy thoughts. Being happy is a must-sought awakening that all of us would like to achieve. That is why my group, the Ayala Young Leaders Alumni, Bicol United, partnered with runcationPH, came up with another episode to uncover interesting stories on how people maintain this happy disposition in facing life amidst the threat of COVID-19. So Camarines, Norte, at Pilipinas, magandang gabi. Marahay na banggi sa Indogabos. Bawal ang nega tonight. We are thankful that we have very inspiring speakers to talk about happy thoughts. And to everyone, I enjoin you to enjoy, learn, and actually get some few insights and lessons from our roster of speakers tonight. So to start off, may we call on, she's a corporate banker for 24 years and an AVP branch head. Then at present, she's the international marketing, at present, she's with the international marketing of Robinsons, real hello, Tita Didith. I think you're still on mute. Can you unmute?
Hi.
Okay, there you go. Yes, hi. Good evening po.
Okay.
Yes, loud and clear.
Good evening to. Okay, good evening. To start again, okay, the word is lockdown. Mankind is locked in. But strangely, in this new space where restrictions abound, come some beautiful liberties. For one, count among the small ones, languid time at your disposal finally, in light especially of how the years prior found us all wistfully longing for even a longing for just even 30 more minutes of sleep, just one more day to add to the weekend, okay? But there are times also na merong umaga na hindi masyadong maganda ang gising, okay? But we're trying to keep it together, starting with give myself permission to feel all of it. You have to acknowledge the fear, the worry, parang there are full spectrum of what ifs. And then also as the days roll by, the intermittent pockets of small mercies, parang iisipin mo lahat yung mga happy presents between all those blank spaces. Times when I was able to clutch at some joy, intermittent pocket, parang iisipin mo lahat yung mga happy presents between all. So I allowed also to let it all flow in and then out, mindfully trying not to label anything as good or bad. Parang the reality of every moment in our new normal here is emotions valid. And yes, I acknowledge everything. I feel all of it, but I also told myself to keep breathing, to keep going forward, and keep the love going. So that's how I do it. There also that freedom of waking up and taking time in the shower and then sleeping into house clothes, sundresses in my case, clothing. I never quiet outgrew since my toddler years, wearing them the whole day, dawn till dusk, and all the way till midnight, if you must. Nowhere to go but home, with enough space within the hours to read or cook, pick up a new hobby. All this lockdown period, natuto talaga akong magluto for the first time in my life. Inaral kong magluto. So I'm very excited with it na I finally learned how to cook. Tapos rediscover an old one that had perhaps been pushed into the recesses of distant memory, yung mga distant dreams ko noon like photography, by force of circumstance, parang naisingit ko siya ngayon, to engage in that thing. Okay? Tapos, and then we're endlessly thankful for ancient wisdom passed down through generations. Like, for example, yung mga traditional remedies, old recipes, potions, yung mga brew, ancient brew to fight this cold. And that is the new adobo. Everyone has a version. So I have a new version of adobo now na halo yung Bicolana, pagiging Bicolana, tsaka Manilenya, tsaka nakarating ako sa New York tsaka San Francisco. So, kumbaga parang nag-concoction na ako, naghalo-halo na ako. Parang you're allowed na to do that because you are so much plenty of time, 'di ba? Tapos like yung mga fresh fruits and vegetables now parang lahat 'yon, parang I realize yung ginger, garlic, honey, fresh fruits, vegetable, parang nagkaano na siya, parang lahat ninanamnam ko, inaamoy ko. Parang you are in this pandemic times na you have plenty of time, parang you're allowed to engage in everything na parang all your five senses nandun lahat. Parang yun yung maganda na napansin na ano ko na realize ko. Then there is the work of the hands, like yung baking bread. Tapos yung nurturing garden. So nagka-garden na rin ako. Dati yung balcony ko isa lang ang ano doon, ang plants. Tapos wala akong time to nurture it or even the water. But because na-lock in ako, yun, nagkaroon na ako ng mga the farm to table meals. Tapos parang after all ngayon, parang nalalasahan ko mabuti yung pagkain. Parang food always tastes better when you go to the source suddenly and wonderfully, we're able to assemble yung homemaking, homekeeping skill sets at our own. Noon na nagtatrabaho ako, I don't take breakfast kasi nagmamadali ako. Sometimes I do my coffee na nakatindig. As if parang tatakbo ka na, bababa ka na, and papunta ka na sa office. But now, parang everything, parang nakakapag-plating ako, nalalagay ko lahat beautifully, parang ganon. And then we cut flowers and put out pretty plates, nilabas ko yung mga ganda kong plato. Tapos lahat ng corner ng bahay ko, I made it neat and beautiful. Parang alam mo, it is a balm to the weary soul. Parang naramdaman ko doon na gusto ko pala yung ganito. Parang we do it not because we are being superficial or flimsy, because it is one thing we can actually control in a world wounded by a virus that we cannot. Parang it's I feel how absolutely liberating to know that we can really live in with so little. Yan pa yung isang realization ko. Tapos, and then, I do not wish to gloss over or romanticize what I acknowledge by every measure as a difficult time for the world and mankind. But I do know for sure now more than ever that most everything in life is perspective, and how we are able to move forward is dictated by the courage of the kind of eyes that we choose to see the world in. So ibig sabihin, for me, it's a matter of perspective. Sabi nga ni the late great Winston Churchill during World War II was believed to have said, if you're going through the hell, you keep going. I try to remember that when the day is hard, assured by the truth that we are going through now, all this will pass. Parang lilipas lang talaga yun. We will get through. Mankind will outsmart this enemy, but that is getting ahead of the story. For now, we must trust that if we stay with it, winging all that is beautiful and all messy, ugly, and uncomfortable about it, we will come out new. Never mind if it doesn't always quite make sense at every moment. Parang your reality is valid because it is yours eh. Sa'yo yun eh. But alongside, that is the responsibility to keep going, keep living. We cannot stagnate in fear. And with that knowing comes bigger freedom. Freedoms, this chance to be kind to yourself, to honor your heart, do what feels right by it. It will tell you what it needs to do to survive the dark spaces. Now it is a beautiful time to turn inward and look within. We have all been called back home, back to basics. Everything is back to basics, back to God, back to heart, back to simple, back to whole, back to God. Everything else is closed, but our lives have opened up. It is precious too to guard your own peace because it is a big part of surviving this plague in one piece. Is also climbing out of its sane, mentally whole. So I say run. Please run far, far away from emotional vampires. Switch off sometimes if you must. Go offline. It is human nature to want to be there for others, but no one can give from an empty cup. So retreat when you must, recharge, and then step out again like the sun, only when your heart is full again. That is the probiotics of mentally surviving this difficult time. What do I find most beautiful? The fact that life pursues you and there is no escaping it. And maybe, just maybe, as a matter of coping, we have to consent to what is on the spot where you are standing and bloom where you are planted. We navigate and make friends with both uncertainty and possibility. And much as that will break and stretch and shape us, the sum of it will also allow us to discover a courage we did not even know we had. It is wonderful how we have all shown up for each other, how the instinct to only do big things fades away in the gentle reality of having countless opportunities daily to be just as loving and thoughtful, doing smaller, more personal things, starting with your own corner of the world, the household, your community, your own tender group of family and friends. Parang every breath is an act of kindness. Every kindness as prayer. We are all like butterflies now, hopefully well on our way to becoming the best versions of ourselves. And until the world heals and is ready to make friends with mankind again, we do what we must to stay alive. We continue to show up for each other, living fully and loving much, knowing that in the fullness of God's time, all will be beautiful yet again. Thank you, Didith.
Didi, thank you for that very wonderful sharing. I just have ano to, parang the real ano to, the real bottom line of the talk was like really this is to acknowledge the feelings, your feelings, and that's one ultimate survival guide that you are actually sharing to everyone. Pero tita, like with all the negativities that surrounds us, talagang hindi naman talaga natin siya naiiwasan. Like how do you filter the negativities that comes to you. So like how do you ano to? What are your tips that you could give
Okay,
the viewers?
okay. Pag feeling ko hindi maganda ang gising ko, and then when I go to the Facebook, I read a lot of things na parang nega. I shut off. Pupunta ako sa balcony, I meditate, I pray, and then parang ipapasok ko talaga yung lahat ng happy thoughts ko na feeling ko na natatawa ako or naliligayahan ako. Pinipilit ko talagang i-shut off yung negative. Talagang sometimes hindi mo maalis yan, pumapasok talaga. So all I have to do is parang,
Yeah, that's correct, tita. And feeling ko talagang kailangan meron kang natural filter in your system so that you won't
yes,
really be affected. So, tita, that's in the morning. How about at night? So, how do you like ano to, parang traverse from, of course, on a daily morning rush, busy every day. So, how do you get that peaceful ano to, center when you are to ano to, when you're about to sleep?
when I about to sleep, so na parang nalulungkot na ako, di ba, pag paggabi na. Kasi ako, I'm living alone now. Tapos parang pumapasok na naman na, ano ba yan? Ang tagal-tagal na natin nakalock in, no? So what I do, namimili ako sa Netflix ng masaya. Ayoko ng horror, ayoko na natatakot. Tapos, parang yung mga light lang na parang mga romantic lang. So, pinipili ko lang. Tina-shut off ko talaga yon. Yung matatakot ako, yung malulungkot ako about my mom. Lahat ng feeling ko na malulungkot ako, sina-shut off ko talaga yan.
So, tita, are you also fond of the Korean novellas? Were you
Yes,
bitten by this bug as well?
yes. Before pa pandemic, na ano ko na-saturate ko na the Netflix. Actually, meron palang saturation point. Like parang
Mm-hmm.
last 2 months, hindi na ako na nagne-Netflix. Alam mo yon,
Mm-hmm.
parang dumating ako sa saturation, I open all my hardbound books na mga binili ko noon na hindi nasimulan lang, na hindi naman natapos. Dumating na ako doon kasi tapos na rin ako sa cooking for 2 months. I learned how to cook. Ngayon, I'm into plants. Tapos yung mga potion-potion, yung mga kung ano-ano. Tapos ngayon, nasa into hardbound books ako. Parang nandun na naman yung attention ko. Feeling ko nga ay parang madali akong magsawa. That's why I need to find something to work on by my hand. By my hand. Even yung mga body scrub, ginagawa ko na ngayon handmade. Kung ano yung gusto kong ilagay. So, I need to do something eh. So, nililipat ko. Pag alam kong sawa na ako.
Yeah. So, Tita Didith, thank you for your sharing. And ano to, we'll put you on standby because we will be having our open forum until we finish the rest of our speakers. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Thank you.
Okay. So, our next speaker to talk about her happy thoughts is the director of the executive program in governance for the College of Continuing Advanced Professional Studies, University of Makati. May we welcome Miss Sonia Fontanilla-Pimentel. Take it away, Ate Son.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you for inviting me to take part in this activity. Magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. When you sent me the message inviting me to join in this conversation about having happy thoughts in the midst of a pandemic, I guess from the beginning it was very clear to me that we will not fall in the trap of false positivity, that we will not deny the existence or the reality that not just us, but all of humanity is being challenged by this virus. We will not forget those who did not survive. We will not forget those who apparently got well, but are actually still suffering from the effects of having the virus in their body. The millions who have lost their jobs, of family members who have relatives who are sick and they can't visit and care for them. We're not going to forget about those things. So how are we going to have happy thoughts, no? If this is the reality that is around us, and which we really can't deny, day in, day out. I always tell my students that learning and happiness have one thing in common. Both require your conscious decision to do it for yourselves. You can have a lesson right in front of you. It can be in the form of a book, or probably an online article, or probably life kicking you in the back when you aren't looking. You can learn from it, but it is also very, very possible that you will not learn a thing from it in the end. The same is true with happiness. One of the things that I really love about Camarines Norte is that we get a free view of the most glorious, beautiful sunrises and sunsets. I really revel in that. I can spend hours on end in our terrace just looking at the stars at night. I know that those beautiful things are things that money cannot buy, but I have them day in and day out. And it can be in front of another person too, and that person may miss out on that. Miss out on the happiness that thing can give him. So it is a conscious decision, just like learning, that we will have to make for ourselves. I went home March 12th. I left Makati around 4 p.m. So around the time when the president made the announcement that the whole of Luzon will be placed under ECQ, I was already in Quezon, on my way to my beloved Bicol. And, I'm sure Miss Didith and Benedict, you can relate to this. When you go home, you go through a series of preparations, no? Anong dadalhin ko? Anong damit ang susuot ko? But I hadn't anticipated that it was going to take 4 months. I was thinking I will just be there for 2 weeks max. So I left my class records. I left my books, the things that I would normally bring had I had the foresight that it was going to take as long as it did. On hindsight, that lack of foresight was providential to me. Because if I brought those things home, those things would have taken me, my attention and my time away from my family. But without those distractions, the three of us were able to go back to the kind of routine we had before Jessie and I transferred here to Manila. We had the time to rebond. You know naman, Ben, the three of us have always been close, but we've had to do things separately, differently. The past few years, Jay started a new path in his political career. I started a new career on my own. Jessie started college. So the past few years have been very hurried for us. So when we were there, devoid of our usual concerns, the past few months or the past few years, we had the time to rebond, to reconnect. We had the time to tie those ends that have been neglected badly the past few years. And these are things that we would not have had a chance to enjoy if I brought the things that, if I brought my class record, if I brought my books at home. So I had the chance to go back to the kitchen. I haven't cooked for my family for a while, and that's what I've been doing before I went to Manila. I had the chance to, as Miss Didith said, go back to the plants, no? Dudumi na nung kuko ko when I was in Vinson's, tending to our small patch there of plants. But yes, I am thankful for the time that we were able to spend by ourselves. That's not to say we didn't have challenges. You can imagine lang, no, the kind of expectations people have from local government officials in particular, because they have to look after, especially those the daily income earners who have lost their jobs. So LGU officials are expected to look after them and make sure that they at least survive this pandemic. So you will probably ask, if it had been challenging to us, why does it sometimes it seems so light to me, so easy to me? Don't we have our challenges? Siguro wala akong kamag-anak na nagkasakit. That's not true. We have some relatives who tested positive. So you will ask me, anong ginawa mo? No? What made it joyful to you despite all the negativity, all the problems that we're having now? I have a formula that I apply to myself. I'm not saying it will be useful to everyone, but to myself, it really works. Number one, do something for somebody who doesn't need it. My siblings and I make it a habit to send something to our parents. You know, like me, I would send hinalo to daddy because I know he likes it. He doesn't need it. He can afford to buy it on his own, but I think it tickles him pink to know that I would remember what he likes and I make time to send it to him. My mom loves owls. You know, she has owls in her property. They are there in her in the trees. I think that's a mango tree where they stay at. So she loves owls. And I bought for my mom these tiny, tiny pots of owls where she could plant her succulents. She doesn't need it. She can afford it to buy on her own, but you know, you remember to do things for people who don't need them. The second is that if you do things for somebody who doesn't need that, you do it for somebody who needs it. You don't necessarily have to spend to be able to help somebody who is in need. You can give time to somebody who needs somebody to listen to her. You can connect Maria to Pedro if what Maria needs, Pedro has, but they do not know each other. You know, you can encourage a teenager, no, who is discouraged by probably a failing grade or a breakup, you know, but do something for somebody who needs it. That's the second thing that I apply to myself. And the third and last is that I do something for a stranger. Just do it and go. You don't introduce yourself. You don't explain why you're helping. Just do it and go. When I do these things, I am not necessarily just doing it for them. In truth, I think I do it more for myself than for them. Because in the end, what's common among us human beings is that we all want to realize what our relevance is in this world. And in truth, you cannot find your relevance in just yourself, no? Kung ang relevance mo, I am just relevant to myself, wala yon, walang value yon, no? So your relevance as a human being will always rest on how you are to others. So when I do these three things, I know for a fact that I am not just doing it to them. More than anything, I am doing it for myself. So when you have this healthy dose of vitamins, no? Yun yung vitamins ng soul mo. When the bad comes, you have enough to ward them off, eh. You can just imagine our life, no? Jay has been in politics for as long, like, I think more than 10 years already. And my father-in-law before that, my brother-in-law has been in politics also for so long. That there are many times in our lives when You do a lot of things and in the end, you get criticized for it. Diba? So when these things come, kung self-induce mo ng happiness, no? Feed mo yung soul mo properly. That's not to say you don't get sad when people give different interpretation to things you do or put malice on the things you do. Like, for example, alam nyo naman ng politiko, pag may ginawa yan, ang sinasabihin lang ng tao, kasi politiko, iniisip niya ng eleksyon. So, wala ka nang gagawing tama kung minsan. But then, if you know in yourself why you're doing what you do, kahit na nalulungkot ka, kahit nasasaktan ka, you don't get discouraged. Sabi nga ni Miss Didith, you just go on. Diba? You just go on. But you need to have that healthy dose of vitamins for your soul. You won't, sabi niya, from an empty cup you cannot give. So, kailangan i-fill in mo yon eh. Dapat meron yung laman. And the only way you can do that, ako for myself, the only way my cup fills is when I follow those three things. I do something for people who don't need help. I do something for people who need help. And I do something for strangers. So yon. That's my formula for having happy thoughts during such really, really challenging times for all of us. Magandang gabi po uli sa inyong lahat.
At this one, thank you for that sharing. Actually, what really strikes me is the magic formula that you have. So, parang extending help for people who don't need help, for those people who need help, and actually for strangers. I think this is very, like, really going back to the basics, because at the end of the day, parang people would really need a certain extent of affection, of care, of connection to a fellow human being as well. Ate, like, with all of these things, is there a point of parang you get tired, or like, if in case that you get tired, how do you refresh again?
You get burned out, diba?
Something like you do, on the point of like burning out. Yep.
Lalo kami, no? You can imagine the kind of life that we have because Jay is in politics. I think, we find that space, that peace in each other. It helps that you go home to people who give you peace, no? People who understand you. Syempre, lalo yung anak namin, no? He's very opinionated and you can hear the discussions at home. But at the end of the day, we know how much we love each other. And we are each other's peace. We are each other's comfort zones. So I think, especially for Jay and even for me, no? Sometimes may challenges din sa trabaho ko. It always helps to go home to people who really give you the peace that you need in your life.
I think you also mentioned about our glorious sunrise and sunsets, looking at the stars. And actually, seriously, I experienced that myself. Na parang sinabi ko sa sarili ko, bakit hindi ko ito nakita all this time? So, like, what can you give as an advice for those people who don't actually see these things? I mean, they're there, pero parang dead ma. Pero like, how can they be more mindful to appreciate, especially of what we have, particularly here in the province?
As I said, no, it is really a decision that you'll have to make for yourself. Diba? It is a decision, like, lalabas ka, pwedeng hindi mo, sabi mo nga pwedeng hindi mo siya makita. Pero stare hard enough. Ako what I do, especially when Jessie was still small, actually hanggang ngayon, I make it a habit that, especially pag maganda ang colors, so nagbe-burst na yung orange, kasama na yung purple and all during sunset, I call Jessie, I call Jay, and I always just tell them, oh, look how beautiful the skies are. Look at it now, because that's ephemeral and that's not going to last, and in a few seconds it will be gone. But ako kasi, kahit nung bata ako, ang hilig ko, I don't know, Ben, ang bed ko, when I was growing up, talagang pinush ko siya dun sa side where the windows are, just so I can look at the stars at night. I don't know, even when I was young, I really find happiness in that. So, I guess, hinihila ko yung dalawang boys kasi, boys can be unmindful most of the time, no? Kami mga babae ang mahilig magtitingin sa ganyan. Sasabihin ni Jade that's sexist, but, sometimes boys are really, the things that are important to them, di ba? Hindi sila masyadong nagtititingin sa ganyan. But ako, I really call them and say, look at it now while it's still nice. No? So ngayon, napapansin ko, even Jay, he would take photos of, yung phone niya, ang dami ng picture ng sunset sa telepono ko. Hindi mo kasi siya mabibili. You can have all the money in the world. Di ba? But if you're in, like ngayon, nasa Ortigas ako, sadness ko yan dito eh. Because I don't have that view. But, I always have that in my memory now. So I just try to remember those beautiful views that I had when I am in Camarines Norte.
Okay, thank you, Ate Son. And for that, we just put you on hold for some time. Then we'll have an open forum. So we proceed to our next speaker, another personality in Camarines Norte. She's actually a mompreneur and a brand manager for the lead system. So may I call in a good friend of mine, Mejien Consuelo Sales. Take it away, Midge.
All right. So hello, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Ben, for that very generous introduction. And thank you for inviting me here. I need to put on my headset kasi sobrang lakas ng ulan. Hindi ko marinig. And so again, my name is Mejien Consuelo Sales, and I'm a mompreneur doing this social media expansion project, and I'm based here in Bicol. But then let me just share a few background of myself. Prior doing this online project, I used to be an airline reservation specialist sa isang BPO company in Manila for several years. And then when I chose to start a family of my own, we decided na umuwi dito sa sa Daet para mag-start ng family. And then so later years, I became a property consultant naman under Asia Plus Corporation. So it's a direct marketing arm of Vistaland group of companies. And so yon, tumagal din ako doon for like 2 years, I think. And then I jumped ship into insurance, specifically AXA Philippines. And so I became a financial advisor. And by the way, I'm a mom of 3. So my eldest is girl. She's already 10 years old. And then our second child naman is 8 years old. And nakahabol pa ng baby boy. So his name is Enzo. 1 year and 6 months siya ngayon. And then I'm a wife of a civil engineer. Yon. So he owned and managed naman his own construction business, and of course, as a loving and supportive wife, I used to support him sa lahat ng activities, engaging his business. And so as he did naman, very supportive siya sa lahat ng adventure ko. And so yon. And so why I am sharing this? Why I am sharing all of this to you? Because I realized that all of the industries I had into are the ones I believe it or not, are the ones that is merely affected by this pandemic. And so, but having been affected makes us decide that we now has this opportunity to really embrace the situation and to take a look on the new beginnings, on the new work maybe, or new business that we might want to venture. So meaning new experiences of life. And so that we'll be able to explore new possibilities and discover our own full potential and capabilities. And so, ang gusto ko lang sabihin, to simplify talaga, is that the fact remains that we decide how we react in life. So yun talaga yun. So basically, we decide how we react in life. And so being happy is not always easy. It can be one of the greatest challenges that we face and can sometimes take all the determination, persistence, and self-discipline. So talaga namang hindi ko sinasabi na madali. We all have this different situation in life. But of course, ano yan, kasama na dyan, pumapasok dyan yung maturity on how to handle things or situation. And so maturity means taking responsibility for our own happiness and choosing to concentrate on what we have rather than on what we haven't. Yon. And yes, we are necessarily in control of our own happiness as we decide the thoughts that we think. And to be happy, we need to concentrate on happy thoughts. So just like what Ben's segment for tonight, so happy thoughts lang, bawal ang killjoy. So being happy can be really a hard work sometimes. It is like maintaining a nice home. You've got to hang on to your treasures, of course. You just want to cherish kung ano yung mga nandun na importante, of course, your kids, your family, your husband. But at the same time, throw out the garbage inside. So being happy requires looking for good things. Yung hindi kailangan, yung pangit, wag na nating i-include. Yung ganon. So you choose what you see and you choose what you think. And so balik tayo dun sa online project na na-mention ko earlier. This is what my happiness and gratefulness nowadays talaga. And I'm so happy and grateful that I was introduced to this online project that I am doing right now. So if you have heard about global drop shipping, it actually have that same concept. And I'm so happy and grateful that during this pandemic, it is still running very well. Alam niyo yung parang dito ko nakita yung sa lahat ng pinagdaanan ko, sa lahat ng ginawa ko, real estate, insurance, construction, and I have this sideline businesses. So being a mompreneur, so I've got to take care of my 3 kids and then to attend on so many things because the ultimate goal is really to help my husband talaga kumbaga yung partnership namin na to really earn for the good future of our family. So yung ganon. So with this project, I was really amazed that alam niyo yung the money is coming. It's totally a complete package. The money is coming in. There's a lot of time for your kids and for your family. And of course, yung yung youthfulness and yung healthy lifestyle is talagang napapractice namin ngayon. And so yun. So that's happiness for me. That's really happiness for me to live a life na hindi mo na kailangang mag-worry at the end of the day or at the end of the month may pambayad ka ng bills. Yung ganon na at the end of the day kasama mo yung family mo na malusog and you're doing you're doing things for others na natutulungan mo sila on how to set up for their own business because at the same time I'm a business coach on this online project na ito. And so that's it. When I was introduced in this project, I just asked myself, if you really want to be happy someday, why don't you start now? And so I'm glad I did. That's the end of my sharing. Back to you, Benedict. Thank you.
Mitch, thank you. And I think what I see here is really you juggle a lot of things at the same time. And where do you get the energy? Pag yung mga tanong ng viewers, may mga tanong ng viewers natin say, where do you get that source of energy to keep yourself going?
Pwede talagang magpaka-honest.
Pwede.
Kasi
Dapat
ganito.
ganun talaga.
Oo. Talaga, I'm so glad kasi na yung kaya kung saan nanggagaling talaga yung energy na yan, is talagang ang inuna ko na munang asikasuhin is yung sarili ko talaga. Yung sarili ko, yung magkaroon ka ng inner peace na I am happy with myself. And so yung happiness na yun, yung energy na yun, nagra-radiate din into others. And so I decided to like being good in my look. Gusto Ben, kaya alam mo naman ako years ago, we are friends for so many years now.
Correct.
And I know, hindi mo pa ako binibigyan ng compliment, okay lang yon. Pero anyways, when people are asking talaga na, oh, you look so good, parang anong ginawa mo, or yung parang your kids are healthy. Well, actually, it's really the products that we are taking right now. It really helps a lot. So, yun talaga siya basically, Ben. Yun. Thank you.
So, Mitch, with this pandemic, nakita ko nga you do have online sessions. So, do you think this pandemic help in some way na yung mga tao mag-online and at the same time really increase business rin? Pero ito yung on the side of you promoting it online. What are your thoughts on itong online business?
Yes, this online business or the project that we are specifically into is siya, it covers kumbaga kahit na from different backgrounds sila, kumbaga pwede. Yung alam mo yun, kasi this opportunity is actually for all. And just to tell you honestly, you can start for free for this online gig that we have. So that's the exciting part. Then you can start for free. It doesn't necessarily kailangan dito na you are magaling or you are college graduate or you are rich or you came from this good position in this society. No. Actually, everyone is kumbaga mag-start ng kumbaga from step 1, yung ganon. And ang kagandahan is we have these coaches and mentors that will support you all the way. So alam niyo yung solopreneur versus teampreneur. So ang kagandahan, you are gonna work with a team. So yun siya.
Okay, so Mitch, thank you. And later, we'll discuss more about your online endeavors. For the meantime, we're gonna put you on hold and for the rest of the speakers to finish. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben.
Okay, so our next speaker is actually one active youth.
Lahat naman tayo, di ba, nakaka-experience tayo ng failures and minsan gusto natin magkaroon ng masayang buhay. So, paano nga ba tayo magkakaroon ng masayang buhay? So, meron po akong 10 secrets to live a happy life. And first is focus on the positive. To find long-term happiness, you must just train yourself refrain from negative situations or negative mindset to a positive mindset. Lahat tayo nagkakaroon or dumadaan sa mga struggles in life and para malagpasan natin yun, is magkaroon tayo ng positive mindset. Huwag tayo mag-worry na, may problem ako, paano ko tumulusod magkaroon ka dapat ng, or i-divert mo yung attention mo sa magkaroon ka sana ng positive mindset in order na makapag-isip ka ng maayos na solutions sa mga problem mo. Next is accept your imperfections. Many of us strive for perfection and also we desire to push ourselves to be our best. Okay yun. Okay naman na maging best or maging best version tayo ng self natin. Kasi yung iba sumusobra na, what? Ako, kunyari, may nakita na maganda yung ilong. Example lang ha, and siya, bakit ganun? Ganito ilong ko. So, papaayos niya. Di okay, maayos siya. Nasatisfy niya sarili niya. Tapos may nakita naman siya, o bakit siya ang ganda ng cheekbone niya? So, papaayos na naman siya. Digastos na naman. And then, may nakita na naman siya ulit na, bakit yung lips niya, ang ganda, full yung lips niya, so papaayos na naman niya. Nasatisfy niya sa sarili niya, pero naging masaya ba siya? Ang dapat gawin natin is, in order for us to be happy, accept natin yung sarili natin. Embrace natin yung perfections, and mas mahalin natin yung sarili natin kasi yun yung binigay sa atin. Next is cultivate gratitude. Find ways to cultivate gratitude in daily basis. Magpasalamat ka sa mga blessings na natatanggap mo sa buhay. And katulad ngayon sa ngayong pandemic, magpasalamat ka kasi may nakakain ka. Huwag kang maarte. Magpasalamat ka sa binigay sa yung pagkain, binigay sa yung relief. Kasi yun na yun eh. Lahat tayo nag-struggle, kaya magpasalamat ka talaga. And also, dapat maging masaya. Yan kasi yung mga, And also, yung may mga trabaho pala, magpasalamat kasi may trabaho tayo. Huwag na tayo mag-inarte na bakit ganitong oras, na gigising ka na naman ng maaga. Magpasalamat ka sa trabaho binigay sa'yo. And also, yan yung mga pinag-pray mo noon na nakukuha mo na. And after mo naman na maging contented ka sa sarili mo is mag-give back ka. Yun yung number 4. Be generous with your blessings. And during this pandemic, yun na yung time mo para makapag-give back ka sa hindi kakilala mo or sa mga hindi mo kilala. And makakapagbigay ka sa kanila, masatisfy mo yung sarili mo na ang sarap palang makatulong sa ibang tao. And also, sila din, ganun din ang mangyayari, di ba? Na-satisfy mo din sila na tumaya sila. And sila din, magbibigay din sa iba. Kumbaga, spread happiness lang tayo. And next natin, and yung iba pala, ganito, sa pag-give back, yung iba, hindi naman talaga kailangan ng cash, ng food. Kailangan nila ng mga shoulder na makakapag-lean on sila and masabihan ng mga problema nila na may mag-a-advise sa kanila. Next is be creative. In order for you to release your emotion, get engaged in creative activities such as music, painting, writing, and even photography. Kung gusto mo talagang maging masaya, i-divert mo yung attention mo. Kunyari ngayon, parang ang gulo ng pag-iisip mo, magulo. So, ang gagawin mo lang, kung may talent ka naman sa pagsusulat, i-release mo doon yung emotion mo and madidivert mo yung utak mo na nakakaranas ka ng mga ganong struggles. And yun nga, parang madidivert mo siya and magkakaroon ka ng positive mindset, just like yun, number 1 na positive or focus on the positive. And verse 6 is, ito naman yung surprise yourself. Di ba lahat tayo, parang ngayong pandemic, naranasan natin yung feeling bored. Ganun. Set goals outside your comfort zone and put yourself in new and unexpected situation. Ito yung mag-try ka ng mga bagay na hindi mo pa talaga natatry ever since. It's like, kunyari ikaw, gusto mong sumayaw, bakit di ka mag-TikTok? Diba, doon mo mag-iisa sa'yo kasi yung mga di mo nagagawa dati is yung parang magagawa mo pala siya at marunong ka palang sumayaw, kaya mag-acting. Example, ako, dati, paano kaya, marunong ba ako mag-online selling or paano ako makakabenta and paano ako mag-engage sa ibang tao, tapos mag-earn din ako. Parang nag-try ako. Sa una, ang hirap kasi iniisip ko na, bakit na parang walang bibili sa akin, walang tatangkilik ng product ko. And pag andun ka na, isipin mo na lang yung mga bagay na masaya mag-online selling. Hindi araw-araw kikita ka pero may paano ka ano ba? Magkakaroon ka ng masasatisfy yung sarili mo na nakabenta pala ako, nakabenta pala ako. Ganun. Tapos, number 7, practice mindfulness. Ito na yon. Accept what we are going through right now and just follow the protocols. Yun na yung nangyari ngayong pandemic. Follow na lang. And dito na kasi yung COVID. Ito na yung new normal natin. And nai-stress tayo lagi. Iniisip natin pa tayo makakabalik sa dati. Ito na talaga yun. Wala ka na magagawa. And pag nagawa mong i-accept yung mga nangyayari, mababawasan yung stress mo, and we can find peace and affirmation in ourselves. 8, celebrate little victories. Yung life talaga natin is full of ups and downs. So, pero sa pagitan ng mga ups and downs, may di ka napapansin ng mga maliit na achievement mo. Yung halimbawa, sa to-do list mo is nagawa mo sila lahat. I-celebrate mo yun para maging masaya ka, and yung iba mo pang achievements sa maliliit is ma-fulfill mo siya, and ganun din, magkakaroon ka ng mag-enjoy ka na gawin yung mga bagay-bagay. Next is number 9. Ito yung maganda. Hang out with happy people. Kasi yung emotions or mood natin is very, very contagious. Nakakahawa talaga yun na pag si ganito, masaya. So ikaw magiging masaya ka din. Tapos palibutan mo yung sarili mo ng mga positive thinker or optimistic person in order for you na maging optimistic ka din. And masaya magkaroon ng mga optimistic na person sa kaibigan mo. And lahat is magagawa mo at malalagpasan mo ng maayos. Ito yung pinaka-last, number 10. You do you. You don't need approvals from other. Accept yourself, accept who you are, and defy what the society dictates. Di yung parang gusto mong gawin to kasi yung sa society hindi siya ginagawa. Gawin mo yun kasi parang yung positive na mga bagay, hindi yung mga rude things. Huwag nyo gagawin yun para magkaroon tayo ng positive mind and happy life. Also, accept yourself for who you are. Mag-spend ka ng time para kilalanin mo ang sarili mo, ano ba yung mga paniniwalaan mo, and turn your weaknesses into your strength. And also, search for the ways to be comfortable on your skin, and remember that stay humble and don't change your attitude. And also, meron akong bonus na tips na secret. Ito yun, I think pinakamahalaga talaga is pray to God na address mo yung mga problems niya. Problems mo kay God. Kasi di man natin siya naririnig, pero bibigyan niya tayo ng solution in a silent way. Hindi agad-agad, pero darating yung solution. And also, tingin mo yung guidance niya sa lahat ng bagay na gagawin mo para maayos mo ito para matapos mo ito ng maayos. Yun lamang po. Maraming salamat po.
Yeah, Jade, thank you. I'd like to recognize lang our viewers from as far as La Union, on the north. We have Bohol, we have Cebu, we have friends from Davao who are watching, of course, Camarines Norte. Jade, you mentioned about being authentic to self. So, what are your discoveries? Like, paano mo siya, at one point na na-discover mo siya in this pandemic, simula nung nag-lockdown? So, can you give us like some story, your story on like how did you discover more authenticity?
Okay. Sa isip mo ulit na po sir. Hindi ko naintindihan.
Like like how do you discover yourself? Na parang sabi mo nga, parang you need to be yourself, not to be like others.
Opo. Na-discover ko ngayon is yung parang dati sabi ko po sa sarili ko, parang kaya ko naman malagpasan yung mga problems ko without others, and nung nakakulong na ako sa kwarto ko, parang nakakahula ako sa hindi ko parang anong gagawin ko, parang yung magulo yung isip ko. Kaya discover ko ngayong pandemic is dapat talaga maki-communicate ka sa others or other person po, like maghanap ka ng mga tao nga advisory ka na mag-stay positive lang, positive mindset lang, dapat happy ka lang kasi yun talaga yun. Yun po.
Okay, thank you for that, Jade. I think my line is a little bit choppy. So we'll pause on your end, and then we'll get back to you for the open forum.
Thank you, sir.
Ako ng barangay as part po ako ng Sangguniang Kabataan, inisip ko anong gagawin ko as ako ay part ng Sangguniang Kabataan para makatulong sa iba. Kailangan ko ba magpaiwan? Kailangan ko bang manatili doon sa lugar para i-accommodate yung mga natitira doon, or kailangan kong iligtas ang sarili ko or pumunta ako sa mas mataas na lugar kasama ang pamilya ko. At nung kami nga po ay pumunta na doon sa mas mataas na lugar at dumaan na po ang mga araw, talagang nisip ko, paano ako makakatulong? Pero doon pa lang po sa aming nilipatan, doon sa aming evacuation center, talagang nag-volunteer ako, tumulong po ako sa mga ginagawa ng mga nag-aasikaso sa aming barangay official. Kumbaga, dahil kakilala ko po ang mga kasama ko sa evacuation center, parang ako yung nag-lead doon na ganito, may darating na pagkain, pila kayo sa mga bata. Tapos, that time din po, nung dumaan pa ilang araw, kami ay lumipat naman sa another evacuation center. Tapos, kinabukasan, lumipat na naman kami from Tagaytay to Silang. Kumbaga, naging palipat-lipat kami para maiwasan yung ashfall or ash na galing sa Bulkang Taal. At that time po na nasa Silang na ako, talagang hindi po matali yung sarili ko na wala akong ginagawa at ako'y nakahiga lamang na wala akong ginagawa para sa kababayan ko na naapektuhan din. That's why I decided na pumunta ako sa pinaka-center, command center ng aming municipality, and I volunteered. Nag-volunteer po ako doon para tumulong sa pamimigay ng relief goods, sa pagre-repack, and also para makatulong sa iba. At that time po, ang nakita ko kung bakit ko ginagawa yon, kumbaga yun ang bagay na kung saan ako masaya, yung nakikita kong nakakatulong ako, nakikita kong yung mga ngiti ng mga tao na parang nawawala ng pag-asa, pero once na tinulungan mo sila, makikita mo yung ngiti sa kanilang mga labi na may pag-asa pa, wag mo mawalan ng pag-asa. Tapos that time po, after po nung malapit na po na humupa na yung alert level, then pumunta naman po ako sa school. So, back to normal, punta sa school para mag-aral. Pero before po pala noon, nag-ano pa kami, nagkaroon kami ng Congress. Yun, after galing sa Taal Volcano Eruption, tapos pumunta sa Ayala Young Leaders Congress, and doon mas nakita ko ang sarili ko, mas nakita ko kung paano ako mas magiging masaya, at iyon talaga ay ang pagtulong sa iba. Kumbaga, pagbibigay kung anong meron ako para magkaroon din yung iba. So after the Congress, punta diretso sa school, habol ng mga requirements para sa mga naiwan na requirements, then preparation para sa isang event na kung saan po ay nag-benefits yung mga cancer warrior, na kung saan yung aming pong team yung nag-head po doon sa aming hair donation drive, sa aming blood donation drive, na kung saan po mas mas nakita ko sa sarili ko na talagang mas sumasaya ako pag nakikita kong sumasaya din talaga yung iba. At yung kumbaga, pagbibigay na kung anong meron ako para sa iba. And that time talagang sa tulong ng SSC family, ang aking Phoenix family, talaga nalagpasan namin yon. Then, at yung event nga po namin yun ay ano pa, nung after, kumbaga, ngayon yung event namin kinabukasan, lockdown, ano na sa amin, wala na kaming pasok dahil may cases sa Batangas City. Then umuwi na ako sa amin. Tapos after that, talagang kumbaga ito yung tawag ko na tumulong. Kaya pag uwi, tumulong sa barangay, nag-volunteer para sa checkpoint. Tapos pamimigay din ng relief goods, pagdi-distribute na kung saan, kumbaga parang isang buwan hanggang 2 buwan na kumbaga halos araw-araw nasa checkpoint na ako. Kumbaga, yung pagbibigay ng kung anong meron ako para sa community ko naman, para makita kong nakangiti sila. Tapos ngayon naman po, time na din masyadong nagcha-checkpoint, dito naman po sa bahay, natulong sa business ng aking magulang. Bali ako yung taga-deliver ng kung anong product na meron ng magulang ko. Tapos, minsan nakakatulong din sa pagpapakain ng baboy. Nakapangumpay na din kahit isang beses. At nagiging masaya ako dahil nakikita kong masaya din ang magulang ko. Nagiging masaya din ang mga kapatid ko. Nagiging masaya yung mga nasa paligid ko. Kumbaga kaya ko ito ginagawa ay dito ako nagiging masaya at ito yung happy thoughts ko. Kumbaga, yung mga bagay na ginagawa ko ay yung mga bagay na kung anong meron ako. Kumbaga, puno ako ng pagmamahal, puno ako ng pagmamahal galing sa pamilya, kay Lord. At sabi nga, the only things that you can give is the only things that you have in your life. Ano bang ibibigay mo? Di ba yung meron ka, di mo naman kayang ibigay yung wala ka. Kaya kung meron kang pag-ibig sa iyong puso, kung meron kang pag-ibig na tumulong sa iyong puso, yun ang maibibigay mo para sa iba at yun ang happy thoughts ko po.
Joel, thank you for that. And ang napansin ko, sobrang rami ng ginagawa mo para makatulong. So, Joel, can you share us, particularly to our audience and to our viewers din, what is the role of, well, of course, yung yung training natin sa Ayala, young leaders. Well, I was young before, so kayo on current batch. So, what were the key points na na nakapag-inspire sa you to reach out more to others?
Siguro sir, yung natutunan ko yung servant leadership. Yung pagiging servant natin, paglilingkod sa kanila. And pati that time yung ako po nasa AYLC, yung talagang nakita ko ang sarili ko na I can give more to my community because kumbaga need ng community ng mga taong tulad natin na kumbaga tulad natin na may puso sa paglilingkod. At isa na rin po sa natutunan ko ay yung pag-ibig sa bansa. Talagang sa pag-ibig po nagsisimula. Kapag may pag-ibig ka sa bansa, may pag-ibig ka sa community, may pag-ibig ka sa Diyos at sa sarili mo at sa bayan, doon magsisimula na lahat mag-spread yung positivity.
Actually, you mentioned it perfectly well, Joel, and nagpapasalamat ako at nabitahan ka ni Bel sa sa forum na ito, and expect na dahil nagsalita ka dito, we will have a lot of online forums geared for for your group, particularly for batch 2019. So Joel, maraming salamat, and stay put. We'll have an open forum later on. Okay, thank you. So for our next speaker, it's another young leader, a third year BS Accountancy. So talagang mga accountants ang guest natin dito from the Mary the Queen College in Pampanga. And she is actually the gabi sa iyo.
Magandang gabi po, Sir Ben, and magandang gabi rin po sa inyong lahat. And gusto ko pong magpasalamat po sa pag-invite niyo po sa amin sa araw po na ito. So, umpisahan ko po yung ang aking sasabihin po sa sa mga tanong po muna. So yun po. What is happiness for you? Is it something that you can buy? Or do you acquire it by the possession of having big houses, luxury cars, jewelries, and money? Or does it only lies within the material things? Or is it something that comes from within? Some people tend to be happy by the possession of earthly things po. Pero, paano nga ba maging masaya? Happiness can come from helping others. I-share ko po yung experience ko po this past 6 months po. So, despite of this pandemic time po, marami pong mga struggles and challenges na na-encounter ko po. Kadalasan po dito is yung, yun nga po, nung sumabog po kasi yung Bulkan Taal, syempre, worried po kami sa mga kasama po namin or batchmate namin, especially yung mga taga Batangas. Then that time, nasa kalagitnaan po kami ng class po namin nun. Tapos po, napaisip po ako, anong pwede kong gawin? Ano bang maitutulong ko bilang isang estudyante or bilang isang Ayala young leader para sa Batangas po, ganon. Nung time na po na yon, parang biglang may nag-pop up sa mind ko po na parang, why not gawa kami ng donation drive? Parang, yun po, nung time po na yon, nung naisip ko po yung bagay na yon, kino-ordinate ko po siya agad sa aming mga mentors. Tapos po, na-push through po yung project na yon, yung tinatawag po namin na project, Oplan Taal project nga po. Na kung saan, sinabi po namin dito na, be a hope for Batangas. So, masarap po sa pakiramdam na nakatulong ka sa kapwa mo po tao. Nung time po na yun, pumunta po kami ng Batangas para po mag-turnover po ng mga goods and mga donations. Para sa akin po, it is very self-fulfilling po. Ang sarap sa pakiramdam, yung parang punong-puno yung puso mo ng pagmamahal, na parang napupuno ka sa loob na basta ang sarap sa feeling. Hindi mo may paliwanag. So, maliban po doon, yun nga po, maliban po sa pagtulong sa Batangas, isa pa pong way na kung saan sumasaya ako, yung may natutulungan po akong ibang tao sa simpleng magpo-promote po ng mga products po ng kabatchmate ko, like yun nga pong kabatchmate ko po sa Batangas na nagbebenta po ng mga lip tint. Yun po, tinutulungan ko po siya na i-promote po yung product niya po dito po sa Pampanga. Then nag-acquire din po ako ng mga products niya, bumili po ako, then in-endorse ko po sa mga kakilala ko po. Then other thing din po, may tinutulungan din po akong kaibigan sa church na kung saan nag-open po siya ng business niya sa po siya, parang more on culinary side po, yung parang vanilla pastries po yung pangalan. So yun po, paano ko siya natutulungan? Sa simpleng pag-handle po ng mga inventories niya, paggawa ng financial statements. So napasok ko na po yung field of expertise ko, may natulungan pa po akong tao. Then next po, you can be happy by appreciating small things. Paano ka nga ba sumasaya sa bagay na yon? Kasi kadalasan po sa mga tao ngayon is hindi po nila na-appreciate yung mga bagay na meron sila. Yung parang, halimbawa, ulam nyo na is manok, pero naghahanap ka pa ng iba. Naghahangad ka pa ng mas malaki. Pero naisip mo ba minsan na paano yung mga tao na ngayon na mas apektado sa pandemic? Wala silang makain. Umaasa sila sa mga relief goods. Pero ikaw na meron ng masarap na ulam sa apag nyo, hindi mo pa ma-appreciate yung bagay na yon. So, kailangan i-appreciate mo yung small things na meron ka in order for you to be happy. Because if you don't appreciate those small things, you won't be contented and you won't be happy to the rest of your life po. Then next po, yun nga po, practice contentment. Be contented on what you have and be contented on who you are as a person. So learn to focus on the good things that happened on your life instead of giving emphasis on the things that you lack. Wag mong bigyan pansin or attention yung mga bagay na wala ka. Kasi wala ka nga nun, tapos yun pa ba yung papansinin mo? Ba't hindi ka nalang maging grateful sa mga bagay na meron ka? Then next po is yun, yung peace of mind. If you have peace of mind, magiging masaya ka po. Kasi wala kang iniisip, yung wala ka ng mga pangamba. So yun po. Then last po, happiness lies within you. Lagi mong tatandaan na yung kaligayahan mo is sa'yo lang yan, nakabase. Di ba kadalasan sa atin, sasabihin nila, sasaya kasi ako sa feeling niya. Sasaya kasi ako dahil sa kanya. Pero hindi mo ba naisip na yung happiness mo talaga is sa'yo naman mismo nang gagaling? Hindi yun nakadepende sa ibang tao. So despite of these trying times po, there's a lot of things to be grateful of. Meron po akong ginawang parang keyword or mga lines para sa word na positive. So P, productivity is the key. So kahit na pandemic po ngayon, di ba, kadalasan po kaming mga estudyante, especially mga 20 years old, hindi naman kami nakakalabas, nakakulong lang kami sa bahay. So anong dapat namin gawin kung nasa bahay lang kami? So dapat, kung hindi ka naman nakakalabas sa bahay nyo, at pandemic ngayon, nakalock ka lang, why not be productive? So, ako po, yung ginagawa ko po para maka-cope up po at maging positive po sa pandemic na to, yun, nagpapaka-productive po ako. Ginagawa ko po yung mga hobbies ko po dati, kasi nung simula po na nag-college kami, hindi na po ako nakakapag-drawing, parang hindi na ako nakakapag-gitara, wala na akong time para sa mga hobbies ko kasi masyado akong na-engage sa mga tasks ko sa schools, tapos masyado akong into sa mga academic works na kung saan nakaka-stress. Pero dahil po nga pandemic ngayon, marami akong time. So, why not be productive? Ang ginagawa ko po, yun po, binalikan ko po yung mga hobbies ko po dati, nagdo-drawing po ako, then nagluluto din po in which nakakatulong po ako sa bahay namin. Then next po naman, so after ng P is O. Omit worries and anxiety. So we should release all the negative thoughts that we have. So as stated in the book of Jeremiah, sabi niya po is, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future." So, meron po kasing times na parang, syempre dahil nasa pandemic na po tayo, yung parang ang daming nagpa-positive, parang ang dami mong pangamba, ang dami mong iniisip. Yung hindi, minsan dumarating sa point na sa gitna ng in the middle of the night, di ba naririnig mo yung mga tunog ng, naririnig mo yung katahimikan na kung saan napapaisip ka, tapos nagre-reflect ka, yung parang ang dami mong iniisip na kung saan to the point na hindi ka na makatulog, umabot ng madaling araw. Tapos, yun, awake ka pa din. So, kailangan, ang gawin mo is, alisin mo yung mga pangamba na yon, yung anxiety na yon. Worrying is not good on your mental health because it is something that will destroy your inside. Something that attracts negative vibes or negative thoughts. So, we should omit worries and anxiety po. Then next is, shift your attention on the good side of life. Despite of these negative things, of these trying times, kailangan mag-explore tayo sa mga bagong bagay. Mag-discover tayo. And we should divert our attention on positive things po. Then next is I. Immerse yourself with beautiful thoughts or you should internalize. Anong ginagawa ko ano bang ginagawa po natin para mag-internalize? Kung kayo po, ano po yung ginagawa nyo para makapag-internalize kayo? Kasi po ako, yung way ko po para makapag-internalize is pumupunta po ako sa bakuran namin. So dahil probinsya po kung nasaan po ako ngayon, probinsya po ito. So fresh po kasi yung hangin dito. Ang ginagawa ko po, pumupunta po ako sa garden namin. Tapos po, I just appreciate the beauty of the nature. Kasi yung mga green leaves, yung fresh air, and blue sky, napaka-enticing po kasi na yun and napaka-relaxing sa eyes. Tapos po, syempre yung parang mapapatitig ka lang sa puno or halaman, tapos yung matutulala ka na lang. Tapos bigla-bigla, parang nasa ibang dimension ka na ng life or nasa ibang dimension ka na ng mundo, yung parang ganon. Tapos nakakapag-internalize po ako noon, yung parang iisipin ko yung mga nangyari this past few years, yung nangyari sa buong taon. Then next po is letter T, time to reset. This pandemic give us the opportunity for having the time to reset po. Yung time para magkaroon tayo din ng oras sa ating mga kaibigan at sa ating mga mahal sa buhay. So ang ano ko lang po dito is dahil nabigyan na tayo ng oras, kailangan sulitin na po natin 'yon kasi paano kung wala ng pandemic? So magiging busy na naman po tayo sa mga schoolworks. So parang magiging busy na naman tayo sa buhay natin na kung saan mawawalan na naman tayo ng oras sa ating mga pamilya. So dapat po sulitin na po natin yung oras na 'yon. Then next is I, influence other people. In everything that we do, kailangan po kailangan yung gagawin natin is yung kung saan makakapag-inspire po tayo ng ibang tao. Then next, value the things na meron po tayo. So we should not compare ourselves to others and always remember that we won't be happy if we will compare ourselves and we don't value or appreciate ourselves as an individual. Then lastly po, enrich your relationship to your friends and especially to God. Kahit anuman pong unos yung dumating sa buhay natin, kailangan po yung guidance ni Lord. Or kailangan laging top priority po natin si God. Always pray lang po para po mawala po yung mga pangamba natin and para maging positive po tayo sa buhay po natin. And as an accountancy student po, lagi ko pong praise po ito. Let's debit positivity and credit negativity. So inhaling confidence and exhaling doubts. Thank you so much po.
Thank you for that, Kathy. I mean, like, very inspirational. So the same question with Joel. So what did you get from the training that you had with Ayala Young Leaders that really gave you this strong, happy disposition, particularly itong mga pagtulong mo sa ibang tao?
So, dahil po kasi sa Ayala Young Leaders Congress, nahanap ko po kasi yung purpose ko. That time po kasi nung bago po ako mag-attend ng AYLC, parang hindi ko pa masyadong alam kung ano ba yung gusto kong direction, kung ano pa yung vision ko. So dahil sa AYLC po, na-clarify ko po yung mga yon and nalaman ko po yung purpose ko. Tapos po, naging empowered po ako sa mga talks, sa mga speeches po, and sa mga words of wisdom po na nakuha ko po doon. Tapos po, I learned that kailangan i-empty po natin yung cup po natin. Na kung saan, kasi kung halimbawa nakapag-absorb ako ng maraming words of wisdom or inspirational words ngayon, kung napuno na yon tapos hindi ko i-empty, paano pa yung mga panibagong magbibigay ng inspirasyon sa akin? So kailangan i-empty ko po yung cup ko para ma-acquire ko yung mga panibagong mga inspiration na yon. Tapos po, natutunan ko rin po yung word na, yun nga po, yung sa pinuno. Ang pinuno po kasi, di ba, parang as a leader. So, bilang isang leader, pinuno ka. So, dahil pinuno ka, leader ka, kailangan punuin mo din yung ibang tao ng mga natutunan mo. Kailangan ipasa mo po yung mga natutunan mo sa ibang tao. Tapos po, natutunan ko rin po na kailangan anong tawag dito, kailangan po, lagi po tayong maging aware and maging reasonably disturbed po tayo sa mga bagay-bagay. Tapos po, mas lalo pong napaigtig po yung pagmamahal ko po sa bayan dahil po sa AYLC. Yun lamang po, maraming salamat.
Kathy, thank you very much. And in behalf ng ng Ayala Young Leaders Bicol United, natutuwa kami sa sa pag-grace sa invitation through Bell. So rest assured, dahil nagsalita ka ngayon, mas marami pa mga ganitong magaganap. Isasama namin kayo uli ni Joel and yourself, and we involve the rest of your 2019 batch to have this online forum. So Kath, thank you very much, and we'll put you on hold for a while and wait for the open forum. Thank you
so much po.
So our next speaker is actually another young leader coming from Ateneo de Naga University. And he's actually the part of the Uswag Junior Eagles as the Youth Empowerment Cluster Head. May I call on Hector Santiago to actually tell us what are your happy thoughts? Take it away, Hecky.
Hi, good evening po. Ayan, so I'm Hector Santiago po from Ateneo de Naga University, and I'm a third year Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in Social Studies. So before po I begin with my happy thoughts, shout out lang po sa batch 2020, AYL Sibug na kayon. Hi guys, kung nanonood kayo dyan. So ayan po. With the pandemic, no, siguro yung first few weeks ng pandemic, I was caught off guard kasi nga nag-shift yung physical interaction with individuals into, home-based interactions na lang siya, more on Zoom, Google Meets and everything. So medyo nabawasan yung interaction natin with anong tawag natin dito, humanistic interaction, kumbaga. Pero ano yung ginawa natin? Ano yung ginawa ko, no, as I go by with the quarantine period? Siguro number one, it's very important na i-acknowledge natin na there are things that we cannot control, or may mga bagay tayo na hindi na natin saklaw, para naman mas maintindihan natin yung epekto nito sa sarili natin. For example, ako, hindi ko na control yung tawag nito, thoughts ng ibang tao during the pandemic. Hindi natin makokontrol na negative sila, siguro nahihirapan sila mag-adjust. Pero we always ask ourselves, ano yung pwede natin gawin to support them? Ano yung possible natin na gawin? Kasi, di ba, it's very happy, siguro matutuwa ka na day by day may napapasaya kang tao, may napapangiti ka, may nabibigyan ka ng tulong in small ways possible, no? That's number one happy thought. Do small things for people, na kahit yung simpleng candy siguro, na bigyan mo ng candy, kumustahin mo, siguro ipagluto mo yung mama mo, yung relatives mo around the house, kausapin mo yung aso mo. Those are the simple things na makakatulong sa atin when going for positive thoughts. Tapos number two, getting in touch naman within yourself, no? Siguro considering nga na ito yung pagkakataon na makilala natin deeper yung sarili natin, we take time, no, to go back to our old hobbies. Ano yung mga gusto natin gawin ngayon, yung mga possible hobbies na dapat natin matagal na natin nagawa. So for me, what I did was bumalik ako sa pagsusulat ng tula. I read books ulit, and that's where I find my happiness, going back to where I started. So yung pandemic kasi hindi ka naman niya tinigilan na to move forward or to go back, to look back to what you've done and everything, but it gave you the opportunity to re-experience and experience more. So these things siguro, no, will help us to be positive in this time of crisis na meron tayo. And number three, be connected with people. Siguro nga nabawasan yung humanistic approach natin, yung humanistic interaction. For example, nabawasan yung pakikipag-usap natin sa mga friends natin, nagkalayo tayo with our best friends, siguro yung mga pares natin, kumares and everything, nagkalayo-layo tayo. Pero it doesn't stop us from checking them out, kung kumusta na sila, ano yung ginagawa nila. Kasi di ba, it's still a conversation. It's still of sharing of your own peace and their own peace. And lastly, siguro for me, no, how to find happy thoughts in this time of crisis is to find peace with God, no. Siguro that's one of the things na pwede natin gawin. Find peace with him, go on silence, meditate, for example, pray, and hope, no, for what I do to find the happy thoughts aside from tawag nito, having interaction with my organization, for example. Kasi nga, ang saya, di ba, nakakatulong ka sa community mo. Siguro yung mga community kasi namin was really close to our hearts. Kaya yun, kahit yung simple deeds na ginagawa namin, yung thank you lang, makita mo lang silang nakangiti is enough for you to be filled with, with hope na maaari pa, may pag-asa pa tayo. There's still happiness out there. We just have to seek for it. We just have to earn for it. We just have to look, siguro yun na yung how I find my happy thoughts. And I'm very happy to be part of this conversation kasi nga it allows you to see how other people find also their happy thoughts. It inspires you na hindi lang pala ako yung may ganitong thought. May other people pala na gusto rin yung ginagawa ko, na halos parehas lang din yung ginagawa ko. Ito pala ito bago to, pwede ko pala tong gawin. Why not try it? So conversations like this, like I said nga dun sa earlier ko na mga tips ko as how I find happiness. Conversations are very powerful. It's a tool for opening new doors for opportunities to be happy, opening new friendships siguro kasi you find other people na may same interests as you. So pwede mo silang i-contact, like ask them paano nila yung ginagawa. And it's very this is very uplifting, kumbaga yung feeling ko right now. I'm very uplifted with this conversation. So yun lamang po. Thank you.
Well, Ricky, thank you very much for that sharing. And I mean, I'm actually at a loss of words if really young people are really talking about about happy thoughts, particularly in this pandemic. Because at one point, alam mo yun, parang kayo lang yung, I think you are the first generation to experience this kind of pandemic na naka-face mask lahat, may physical distancing and everything. And I tell you, comparing that to the previous generation, or even like, for example, like what I have encountered during college, ibang-iba talaga. And I'm not saying I'm not saying that it will be easy. There's so much difficulty. Pero ang kailangan nga, as yung sinabi nga ng mga kasama din natin kanina, is really the disposition, your personal disposition on how you face and how you choose to survive in this pandemic. So, Heki, with regards to all of this, this chaos, itong like this coming school year, blended learning, everything, I know that students are stressed as well. So, ano yung mga stress busters mo? Can you give us some tips on para sa mga viewers natin, ng mga estudyante na ano yung mga stress busters mo, especially in this pandemic times?
Ayan po, so students, siguro true enough na marami nga talagang stressors kasi nga from internet connection, from from the way we conduct our lessons na, it's more on online na, and you have to read and everything. So ano yung may suggest ko? For me, number one is to find your most comfortable place sa bahay. Saan yung pinaka-komportable ka na mag-aral? Kasi when you find comfort, it's easier to counter stress. And it's very important na yung yung area na yon, kasama mo rin yung pwedeng favorite food mo or happy food mo. So while you are studying, you're also accumulating positivity within you. Tapos number 2 na suggestion, don't overdo it. Ayan. So you don't need na i-burn out yung sarili mo as a student, no. Take it on your own pace. Wag mo siyang madaliin, wag mong pilitin pag hindi talaga nagsisink in sa utak mo. Take notes, for example, ano yung hindi ko nagigets, then later on balikan mo siya. Read mo na lang siya ulit mamaya. Allow yourself to rest, no? Pag hindi na natin kaya yung stress, for example, masyado ng maraming information, di na kaya sa utak. Take a break. It's very important to take a break. And lastly, siguro for me, no, as a stress buster, siguro find a hobby that you can do after studying. For example, ako, may tatlo akong hobbies while after I study or after na mga online classes ko noon. Number one, I watch anime, no, for some time. Number two, I read books, no. I really enjoy reading books ulit during the quarantine. Like, siguro natapos ko na yung mga binili kong libro na hindi ko nabasa noon. And lastly, talk to your friends. Siguro that's one of the most important. Like, yan yung palagi kong sinasabi, have time for a conversation. Like kahit online yan, chat, video chat, or even yung tawag ito, sa family conversation, it's very important para naman tawag ito, may nasasharan ka ng problem mo, there is someone willing to listen, you are able to empty that cup na negative cups na meron ka and relive it ulit with positivity. Yun po.
Okay, thank you for that, Heki. So, ako, I think we share the same hobbies. I-delete ko lang yung i-change ko lang yung anime. I go for the Korean novelas na lang. So, it's easier to Okay, so, Heki, thank you for that. And let's pause for let's pause for a while and then and let's wait for the open discussion. And guys, if you have any questions, please feel free to actually put it on runcationPH on your questions to your speakers. They're more than willing to answer right after our last speaker for the night. So the last speaker for the night is coming from Ateneo de Naga University, and she's a third-year BS Development Communication student. And University Student Recruitment Offices, she's an ambassador of the University Student Recruitment Office. So you will see her all over Naga City. And an Ateneo student ambassador. And of course, an Ayala Young Leader alumnus of batch. I'm sorry pala. I keep on mentioning 2019. It's 2020. So may call on Miss Maribel Faye Merano. Belle, tell us your happy thoughts.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I hope you and your family are well and amidst this health crisis. Resonate with what Mom Sonia said earlier about how can you think in this kind of pandemic. And dun nagpasok yung pandemic fear na we use, which is a very normal praise to us, tapos which can lead to fear, uncertainties, and even towards sadness. So I read an article by Kevin Faust, and nakatulong siya sa akin to cope with this kind of situation. And I hope na as long as I can share this to you guys, makatulong din sa inyo. So, in the psychology today, sabi doon, focus on what you can control. I resonate with Heki in this. Kasi we cannot control this reality. This is reality. This is the new normal. And in this time now, we cannot control our feelings, our thoughts, and even our actions towards others. Pero we can restore our self-consciousness, meaning we can divert our attention towards our daily and night routine, skincare routine, goals in life, passion, and even on the matters that we wanted to discover. And in this, we find the purpose of our life away from the toxicity. Mas nakilala ko dito talaga yung family ko. Nakita ko si mama na sobra pala talagang magaling sumayaw. 7 a.m. yan, Zumba. Father ko, nakita ko yung funny side niya. And last, yung sa kapatid ko, mas nakinig ko yung tinig niya. Like, sabi ko nga, singer pala to. Like, mas nakikilala mo yung family mo na sa matagal mo na sila nakakasama. And mas nagkakaroon kami ng bonding. Dito, na time ko na mas natuto ako magluto. And it's never late to be a Potterhead. Yeah, yun. Nahook ako sa pagbabasa ng libro at sa paggawa rin ng poems. Second, I challenge myself na to beyond my control. Like, passion ko sa buhay, ano ba yung goals ko sa buhay, like after ba ng graduation, yung gusto kong kunin na path. like in management ba, leadership, or focus in communication. Like I have this time to reflect towards myself. And mas lalo kong na-appreciate yung pagmumuni-muni, yung color ng clouds, like pink, orange, mas kahit nakakainis sa Zoom minsan yung tila ako ng manok, mas na-appreciate ko siya ngayon. Kasi pagbalik ko sa city, hindi ko na yan marinig. Ang marinig ko na yung ingay ng kalsada, yung sigaw ng tsuper, and all of that sudden. Second, for me to think happy thoughts, I also being mindful on the media intake. Dati, towards social media, I spend like 5 to 6 hours. Pero now, I spend like 3 to 4. Yan. I limit my intake to social media or to media platforms. Though, I wanted to be I wanted to be knowledgeable sa ano nangyayari sa bansa, sa social issues, sa kaklase ko, sinagot na ba ni ganto si ganyan, ano nangyari kay Catriona at kay Clint na issues, ganyan. And as much as nililimit ko yung sarili ko, it's also my way to cope or to respect my emotional and psychological limits. Kasi minsan, pag, alimbawa, sa news, may namatay, ganito, ganyan. Tapos, niisip ko siya, napapaniginipan ko. And yan, one way din talaga is to limit or to be full in your media intakes. Tapos, third, or for me, is to surround yourself with the people that will help you to feel better and secured. And dito, mas na-learn ko mag-cope sa mga friends ko, sa family ko, sa loved ones ko, na to connect with them. It's time to say, oh, kumain ka na ba? And some of my friends will tend to say this na may mga nakikilala sila, like quarantine fling, pero sana hindi mauwi sa salamat quarantine, di ba? Kaya yon, learn how to ask help from others. Also, have this thought, di ka nag-iisa. Though you have yourself that you can stand on your own, but it's better to ask help to others. Kasi in this kind of pandemic, hindi mo kakayanin mag-isa ka lang na magko-cope ng situation. Always may tutulong sa iyo na situation boils in. Sabi nga doon, this pandemic is really a challenging and tiring to us. And naalala ko yung isang talk na also having loved ones, like how you cope or how you can share your feelings towards them. Really emulate something positivity within you. Sabi nga lagi ng partner ko, mapapagod pero magpapahinga. Sometimes we tend to give up on the things na gusto natin na iisabak, pero nalilimutan nating magpahinga. And I think that's a key point to this. And yun, another one is patuloy manalig. Lagi sinasabi ni Ate Rosa, patuloy manalig at magmahal. In this kind of situation right now, hindi dapat muna din sarili natin ang iisipin natin when it comes to how to deal with things and situation. Always think for the others and for the community as well. Then it will reflect towards our country. So yun po.
Yeah, Bel, I'm again speechless. I mean, I don't really understand like where do you really get all of this hugot, and I tell you, totoo siya. Even on people who are working na talagang walang inisip kundi pagtatrabaho, nakakalimutan yung pagpapahinga. And I think that's a very shocking reality. Pero I mean, like when you enunciate it, parang wow. So amongst all of these things, on being happy, how do you sustain that momentum na, you'll have this happy state as a student?
As a student po, then sustain mo yung this kind of happy thought, this positivity with the help of they nourish me na everyday na parang okay lang yan, Bel. You can stand uli, lalan ka uli. And I think malaki yung factor talaga ng family when it comes in this in this kind of crisis eh. Lalo na yung anxiety ko na hala, online classes na, paano yung internet connection, paano yung access sa upload na naman ako dito, lalabas na naman ako, yung mga ganon, ganong vibe na parang, okay, Bel, you overthink too much. Nandiyan lagi si mama na, Bel, kaya mo yan. You overthink too much. Learn to calm. And I think that's, Kuya Ben, like, Sir Ben, na pag stronger yung foundation ng relationship mo sa family, friends, I think you will maintain this kind of energy as well.
Okay, thank you for that, Bel. So guys, you have heard them all speak about happy thoughts. It's very diverse and parang wow, it's really one information overload din, and really all the insights of seeping in is really will really take some pondering after this online forum. So we're now opening the floor to our open forum. So, guys, if you have any questions of our viewers, please feel free. But first, let's have a rundown for everyone to speak. Pero just really make it short and top of mind lang. So, the first question is, your happiest moment in this, your happiest moment in this pandemic time. So, what are these? So, may we start with Tita Didith. Ano po yung Can you give us like top of mind lang, the happiest that you won't forget? Tita, naka-mute ka po. Okay, there you go.
Okay. The big talagang that I really feel grateful is I learned how to cook at this age. Because I always get deployed in the US. Doon ko na-realize na kailangan marunong ako magluto. Pero nung before, imagine, tingnan mo ha, mula maliit, may restaurant kami, until nagtrabaho na ako and everything. Parang, I don't have the desire to learn to cook until napunta ako sa US that parang naisip ko na, ang dami-dami kong bumili sa groceries, and yet, nakatambak sa rep, hindi naman ako marunong magluto. So, kailangan lumabas ako to eat or, di ba? So, I'm very, very grateful kasi nagkaroon ako ng kapitbahay na lockdown dito na who is a chef na wala kaming ginagawa pareho.
Your post, yes.
Yeah. So, naisip na lang niya na turuan na lang kita pagluto, and he's super tiyaga. But because lumaki ako na nasa restaurant ng mami ko, ng kapatid ko ngayon is the owner of Kingfisher. So, yeah. So, hindi ko siguro niwala, hindi ako marunong luto. Kasi, pag nagtinawan ako, alam ko na how to play with it. Nakakaano ako. Siguro sabi niya, siguro dahil lumaki ako sa restaurant din. So, parang mabilis ko natuto. So, tuwan-tuwa ako, Dick, yun talaga. Pag nagtinawan niya.
So, Tita, we will taste that that hybrid adobo that you are talking about soon.
Yes.
After this lockdown. Thank you, Tita.
Oo.
So, Ate Sonia, like your happiest moment in this pandemic.
I think it might have been when I arrived in Bicol, one of the first things that I did was to prune shrubs that I have neglected in a very long while. So, nung prunun ko yung sampagita dun sa gilid ng garage namin, I was worried ko parang I might have overdone it. But a month after, umulan eh. Siguro 2 days yun na sunod-sunod yung ulan. Tapos, alam mo naman ang halaman, pag sobrang init, tapos pinasukan mo ng ulan, talagang yumayabong siya. So, after that rain, when I saw the leaves na talagang sturdy na siya, tapos ang daming buds. Like, oh yes. Tapos, even Jay said nga nung naglilinis siya ng sasakyan, naaamoy na niya yung sampagita dun sa side ng garage namin. It's something imagine, ilang taon ko nang nineglect yung kawawang sampagita na yon, no? So, yeah, ang saya. And ipinost ko pa siya sa Facebook. Kunento ko sa lahat ng bahay, hoy, ang ganda-ganda ng sampagita. It might seem nothing to most people, pero it's something also that I would never have done, no, kung hindi nagkaroon ng pandemic.
Yeah. Ate Sonia, you made a very big discovery because in agriculture, it's actually an agricultural improvement practice that's called pruning. So you have already mastered pruning in this type of pandemic. Thanks, Ate Son. So the next should be Midge. What are your thoughts? Happiest moment in this pandemic?
Yes, hello, good evening once again. So, happiest moment during this pandemic, of course, yung hindi naman talaga natin maipagpapalit yung time with the family. So, since Tim is very busy talaga sa work niya, so come this pandemic, talaga nagkaroon siya ng time sa amin. And of course, yung mga bata, yung talagang, alam mo yun, yung makikita mong nakikipaglaro siya, yung ganyan. So, as a mommy, yung makita mo yung kids mo na having a very great time with their daddy. So sobrang saya nung mga moments na ganun. And of course then, yung opportunity talaga na makatulong ka. Yung nakapag-reach out kasi ako for my many friends from elementary, high school, college, and then yung mga nakasama ko din sa work. Kumbaga nakapag-reach out ako, nagkaroon ako ng maraming time na ganun instead of watching Netflix. And so yun, nagkaroon ng opportunity ng kumustahan and yung makapagbigay na rin ng opportunity for them dahil ang dami ngang nawalan ng trabaho. So yung ganun. Thanks, Ben.
So, Midge, hintayin natin yung we'll wait for your mga demos soon.
All right. So,
okay, thanks, Midge.
We'll talk about that later.
Jade? Jade?
Hello po.
Yes, your happiest your happiest moment.
Just like Ma'am Mejien po is nagkaroon ako ng time with my family, with my papa and mama, sa kapatid ko po. And also, discover ko na hindi naman pala talaga mabigat yung kamay ko. And naging plantito po ako ngayong pandemic. Tapos, lagi po nakapag-collect po ako ng mga cactus, succulents, and every other day po, lagi akong may dalang halaman pag pauwi. Yung mga nakikita ko sa daan, yung sa malapit sa office namin, sa mga pinupuntahan ko pong bahay ng friends ko, pinanghihingi pa ako ng halaman sa kanila, tapos tinatanim ko sa bahay. Yun po.
Okay, thanks for that, Jade. And titignan natin yung mga yung mga plants na binibenta mo. Okay, Joel?
Hello po. So, yun po, yung sa akin naman po, yun, nagkaroon ng opportunity na magkasama-sama po ulit kami ng aming pamilya na kumain, lalo na at nagkaroon ng opportunity na nailibre ko sila. Kaya kami nagkasama-sama nakakain. Tapos, isa na rin po yung na na-launch po namin yung aming batch project na kung saan tinawag po siyang Project Arise to Tell. Para po siya sa mga binaha po doon po sa aming kabarangay na kung saan yung po ay may kasamang putik na galing pa po sa pagputok ng bulkan. So natapos na po namin yun at sobrang saya ko po dahil isa po ako sa nag-suggest or nag-initiate na let's have donation drive para sa kanila.
Okay, thank you, Joel. Next, Kath, your happiest moment?
So, katulad po nung kay Sir Jade, kay Kuya Jade po and Ma'am Midge, happiest moment ko po talaga this pandemic is yung time po with my loved ones. Kasi po, nung time po na wala pong pandemic, napaka-busy po talaga ng schedule ko in which parang papasok sa school, kauwi galing sa school, gagawa ng ACADS, tapos matutulog na, gigising. Parang process na gano'n, yung kung saan nawawalan na po ako ng time sa mga mahal ko po sa buhay. Kaya, napaka-thankful ko po kahit na po meron pong nangyaring pandemic is yun nga po, nagkaroon ng positive meron naman po siyang positive effect po, which is nagkaroon ako ng bonding time with my family po. Yun lamang po.
Okay, thank you, Kath. So we want to hear, kay Heki naman, what's your happiest?
Tawag ito, nung nakabalik po ako sa campus, since na-miss ko talagang Ateneo Dinagan during the pandemic, 2 months ako hindi nakapasok. Tapos nabisita ko yung office namin and masyadong maraming tawag nito, masyadong maraming cobwebs yung office. Kaya, pero masaya makabalik sa Ateneo Dinagan. Masayang makapasok ulit sa university. Yan lang po.
Thank you, Heki. And Belle?
Hi po uli. Ang sa akin siguro yung matikman uli yung mga lutong bahay nila mama at papa. Kasi nga, di taga-Timonan, Quezon ako. Tapos, dorm life, bibili ng ulam, malamig na, tapos medyo, hindi pa yung lasa, di ba? So, dito, mainit pa, tapos, alam mo kung paano siya niluto ng mama at papa mo. So, yun po talaga yung pinaka-happiest moment ko.
Okay, thank you, Belle. So, Belle, we're gonna start from you naman, going to the first speaker. Pero we're gonna give you, what will be your parting lesson on sorry, I cannot read. On being happy. So, parting lessons on being happy.
Parting lessons on being happy. I think, that's a parang term. Siguro po para sa parting lessons for being happy is to accept the reality that even though mahirap tanggap, it is part of life. That's life. And as long as pag hindi mo siya tatanggapin na ito na to, mas mahirapan ka to cope with the situation. And also, parting of being happy is to motivate others and not just yourself.
Okay, thank you, Belle. So, Heki, parting thoughts?
Ayan. So, siguro po, as a parting lesson with happiness, siguro we should find happiness in simple things na ginagawa natin. For example, yung simpleng ulam na niluto ng mother, or yung simpleng snacks na kuha natin, simpleng kumustahan is tawag ito. This is how we appreciate things, no? So this is how we appreciate small efforts, small deeds of happiness, kumbaga. And as we receive nga small deeds of happiness day by day, we should also give small deeds of happiness to others para tawag nito, we can share our light or share our happiness to everyone. Yun po.
Okay, Heki, thank you. So, Kath, your parting message?
So, yung parting message ko po is, we can have happiness po by these 2 words po, appreciation and contentment. Para sa akin po kasi, kapag na-appreciate mo na yung mga bagay na meron ka, magiging masaya ka. At kung kontento ka na, hindi ka na maghahangad pa ng iba. Yun lamang po.
Maraming salamat. And then, we call in Joel.
So, yung sa akin naman po, parang the same lang with Catherine po. Yung i-appreciate po natin yung mga bagay na meron po tayo. Lalo po dito sa amin po, kumbaga, appreciate natin kung ano meron sa ating bahay, kung ano mang pagkain yan. Appreciate natin ang ating mga kasama sa bahay. Appreciate natin na sa paligid natin, ating environment. Yun po.
Okay, thank you, Joel. Jade?
Enjoy life, be happy, and be thankful on what you have. Kasi yun yung mga pinagdasal mo noon, and also, i-share mo din sa iba para makapag-spread ka ng good vibes sa kanila. Yun lang po.
Thank you, Jade. Mid?
Yes, so ano lang siya, parang short message. Tama yung I very much agree dun sa sinabi ni Belle na talagang we just need to embrace the current situation na meron tayo ngayon. Kasi talagang kung hindi, ano lang din talaga, negative thoughts yung malamang papasok. So, di ba? Yung parang wag na nating entertain, but instead, spread positivity na lang. And talaga namang hindi siya guarantee na hindi tayo matatakot or hindi mahirap. But for sure, this situation can really make us stronger. That's for sure. And of course, being na lang din, be grateful kung ano yung meron and ask for guidance na lang. Yun, ganon. Of course, with prayers talaga, isa din talaga yan sa weapon natin during this situation para makapag-cope up tayo. Ben.
Thank you. Maraming salamat, Midge. And Ate Son, your parting message and lesson for our viewers.
As I said earlier, no, happiness, like learning, is a conscious decision that we'll have to make for ourselves. No, nobody can do it for us. Whatever the circumstances may be around us, nasa sa atin pa rin yun. Matututo ba tayo? Magiging masaya ba tayo? No? Yun lang, no. It is something that we do for ourselves. No, let's not let that happiness depend on other people. No, it's something that we have to do for ourselves. And when we have that, pwede nating i-radiate yon dun sa mga taong nakapaligid sa atin.
Thanks, Ate Son. And then may call on Tita Didith for your parting message.
Okay, for me, since nandito yung pandemic, we just have, as a matter of coping, we have to consent to what it is, and in the spot that where we are standing, let's bloom where we are planted. Parang we should learn to navigate and make friends with both uncertainty and possibility. Yun ang parting words ko.
Okay, thank you, Tita Didith. And for the rest of our speakers, maraming salamat po sa pagdalo natin dito sa online forum na ito. And asahan nyo na we will have more of these to come in the future to actually share the platform, the online platform, for the rest to actually speak. And as we end tonight's session, we would like to thank our speakers, and your e-certificates will be emailed to you at this very point in time right